mentioned this very early on, but it was not a major statement, and I think I need to say this here again, that, you know, I've had people say, yeah, you weren't listening to me, you never listened to me, you know, you're like, or after a while. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a certain, when you feel as if you're not safe, when you feel as if somebody's dishonest, when you feel as if you're being manipulated, then I don't think you have a responsibility to listen. I think you just need to take care of yourself. So you can't always listen. As we said, one of the first things is decide to listen. And one of the things is if you feel like you're going to get manipulated, then say, I really can't. You know, yes, right.
But you know where the trouble comes is women are so quick to the response in almost everything. And
none of these women in here anymore.
We don't have, we don't have the time to think about what to say before, like you say, we're bombarded with a second question. That's what's so tough.
Deer in the headlights. Deer in the headlights.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
My husband and I just had this experience last night. Only it wasn't over an emotionally loaded thing. I tend to think faster, I talk faster, I move faster.
Right, right.
So I was going from one activity to another, and we were just kind of in a conversation, you know, in our office together. And I asked him a question, and I realized immediately, oh, that wasn't quite what I wanted to ask. So I put another one right on top of it, and then another one, and maybe 4 questions in a row, and he's just like,
overwhelmed.
Right.
Yeah, and he tells me, you know, I don't even know what to say. I have no time to even speak. And he got up and left the room for a while, and then I came out, and we talked about what happened. But I just utterly overwhelmed him, and he just can't even speak. He can't process.
And know that if that happens, that overwhelm, that shutting down, it's usually flooding, just like the car. And so what happens when the car is flooded?
It fell.
You can't keep pushing the pedal. You have to stop. So cave, you know, time. Stay in the driveway for a little bit and let it subside, and then come back and say, here's the one question I wanted answered. And I think for those of us who are fast thinkers and talkers, women, that it behooves us to pre-think what we're going to say, what we're going to ask. To say, what's the most concrete and most important thing I could say? To organize our thoughts before we open our traps. You know, and it doesn't always happen, and that doesn't say you're always going to do that, but when it's, you know, be conscious of that, I think.
And you start with honey.
Maybe. So I think for some people that's a trigger.
Really?
Yeah. I would say some people feel like they're going to be manipulated with honey.
And we need to talk.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes that's like giving their middle name, you know, like a little boy's middle name. you know, when you say John Roger, he knows he's in trouble. You know, so I don't know. I think that it behooves us to really organize what we're going to say before we talk to somebody. But if you're moving fast, then you can do a repair. You can do a repair. Well, I just bombarded you, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I've actually done this. I've actually gone. So what's the one thing we're going to do here, or repair the situation?
Have a drink before you.
Yeah, but I've actually gone, let's go start that over again and come back and do a repair. You know, and I think if you can have a sense of humor about that, because we're going to do that. We're going to have times where it's, oh, guess what? We can remake that. Scratch, replay, go back, go do it again. Have some humor about it. Do it a different way. Yeah. So did we repair that one? Well, they wanted to see the show go on. You wanted, what did you want to see happen?
Vultures.
Well, if he was guilty, do you want us to have that conversation?
Actually, I think that he could react 2 different ways. One way, if he has something to worry about, and a different way if he doesn't.
Well, there again, and I'm gonna, you know, it's interesting because we get out of the realm of just communication and we get into the realm of philosophical discourse and where are male-female relationships going, you know, and what are the rules anymore. And I think that I really feel as if the mores are changing, sometimes for the better. The rules between men and women are evolving, and so we get beg a bigger question, even in carrying that on, because is he guilty? Is he guilty, or what is guilty? And what is the expectation and those things. So it gets to be quite a huge question.
The listening class isn't working for me. What was it I was supposed to remind you about? You said remind me.
Silence.
Remind you.
Silence. Thank you.
Silence.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Frank. Okay. So you were nodding your head. I'll come back to silence. Yeah.
Oh, just in response to that, my husband and I have an agreement. We've been married for 15 years. We don't.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to make sure everybody's okay in their drinks up here. I know it's kind of hot in this room. You good? Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, we might need some more Gungan.
We don't expect that when we got married that we would cease to be male and female who would have physical attractions to other humans on the earth. And so we made an agreement that we would always tell each other, ooh, I had this spark of a feeling. And then we just talk about it. And whatever is not kept in darkness, when you bring it out into the light, it loses its power.
Yeah.
And so we share that with each other, and it never goes anywhere else.
Gay, what's his name? Gay,
Kaplan?
no, the relation, the two, Marcia and Gay, was a couple, counselors, Hayden or Hardin or whatever the name is. They talk about radical honesty like that, to just be honest even when it's not convenient.